So, this is going to be my review for the first two episodes of The Mandalorian. So, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a little kid, but I didn't really like the special edition changes of the first three movies. I didn't really like the prequels at all. I kind of liked a little bit of the second Attack of the Clones movie. And then the new prequels came out and they were just ugh. But I did like Rogue One, and I kind of like Solo a little bit because they were like the dirtier of the Star Wars. Like the original Star Wars trilogy was like lived in, and it looked like a world that had been used, and there was grit and there was rust. And I gotta say, I'm happy that dirty Star Wars is back because like this new Mandalorian show, it was dirty. It was like, ugh. Just wipe your feet when you walk in the door, Star Wars. Yeah, it was pretty cool because like there were all the aliens and the creepiness and that you would see in the cantina bar of the first Star Wars. They showed you all the dirty aliens and characters that you would see, and it had the creepiness that I feel like Star Wars needs to happen. It needs to have, like the Last Jedi, that train wreck of a movie. It was so cute. It was just like, there were little poor creatures and just little cutie pie aliens, and like crystal foxes, and it was just horrible. And like Return of the Jedi had the Ewoks and they were cute, but like I think most people agree that was the weakest of the three original Star Wars films. And anyway, back to The Last Jedi. It seemed like the main character of those movies was never challenged. There was like, she never there were hardly ever any roadblocks in her way that were a challenge. But in these two Mandalorian episodes, the main character got his ass beat, and that's what should happen. The main character, I feel like, should be getting his butt kicked for the first 3/4 of the episode. And man, this guy got like trounced constantly. There was a kind of a cool gunfight where he did beat like a superior force that had, they had the advantage of height. But like it was clearly a problem. Like he had to think and he had to react, and he was hiding and taking cover, and dirt was flying all over from blaster bolts hitting all around him, and it was just exciting. And yeah, it was great. I mean, I really hope that they keep it gritty, that they keep it dirty, they keep the main character in an element of discomfort. They need to keep him constantly being challenged and climbing over hurdles. That's what makes a good action story work. And oh yeah, I was kind of complaining about the cuteness. The second episode had a character that was really kind of cute, and I don't know if it didn't bother me so much. Because the character was a baby, and for some reason, I don't know. I'm not gonna say a story was bad because it had a baby in it. But one thing that that did bug me about this character is that it had force powers. I don't know. It's kind of confusing because it was an alien. It was 50 years old, but I guess that species of alien is still a baby in 50 years. And I was kind of thinking, like how could that possibly work? You didn't pick up any language, you didn't pick up any speaking ability, but you learned to use the Force. Like, that was kind of confusing. I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to chalk it up to the mystery of that alien type. For example, like, maybe some things develop faster than others in this particular alien. Like a baby horse can walk within minutes of it being born. a human child can't. And I'm not sure whether humans talk first or walk first. I would think that they probably make babbling baby noises around the time that they're toddling. I don't have any children. I'm a Star Wars nerd. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, it was kind of interesting. Like maybe the Force is just something inherent in that species. But one thing that people criticized The Last Jedi for was that Rey didn't need any training. She just picked up the Force immediately, and and because of her perfection and nothing standing in her way, that made her a horrible character. So I'm thinking, like, if you are to accept the fact that this little Yoda baby thing is has inherent Force powers in the same way, you could never have that Yoda character be a main character. Like, that character has always got to be a peripheral side character, because you can't have perfection in a main character. A main character has to have something to overcome. It has to make changes. It has to have some sort of epiphany. And I don't know, like, there's got to be, if this little baby can use Force powers, it must have some kind of it's got to have some kind of limitations in order to be a good character. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about this little alien baby, but I'm kind of curious how they're gonna treat it. But yeah, I don't feel like that it could ever be a main character. It would always have to be a side character in some way or other. Anyway, what else was I gonna talk about? I heard a lot of people talk about how the music was horrible, and I don't think it was horrible. I thought, like, the music for the first episode was I thought it was really good up until, like, the point where he met his Ugnaught friend, and it kind of got a little bad, but the rest of the story was good. Like, it was just bad for like a moment, I thought. But I liked how there were a lot of Middle Eastern sounding instruments going on in the background, and maybe that isn't appropriate for Star Wars, but it didn't bother me. Like, I just have a special place in my heart for, like, Indian drums and Indian and Arabic scales and rhythms. To me, I really liked it. At the end of the second episode of The Mandalorian, the music started getting a little strange. Like, there was a lot of interesting drumming, and there was a lot of, like, strange, like, alien sounding flutes, and I thought that was kind of cool. It didn't really feel like Star Wars, but I didn't hate it. I appreciated it. Like, you know what the music sounded like? The music sounded like the music from a Dark Crystal. Like, you know, when the Gelflings when the Gelfling characters were going around and living amongst what were they called? Podlings or something? The wild ones that lived in the woods. And they would have all these, like, organic, folky, weird instruments. Like, it sounded like the soundtrack of a Jim Henson movie, like the Dark Crystal. And in fact, like, I think the second episode kind of felt a little bit more like a Jim Henson movie than a Star Wars movie, because of all the puppetry and the strange, like, podling music. But I didn't hate it. Like, it didn't bother me as much. It was kind of like, it felt like it was a little weird, because it seemed like it was the soundtrack for the wrong story, but I didn't mind. Like, I give it a pass. Anything else I want to complain about? I don't think I want to complain about anything, really. I'm just happy. Dirty Star Wars is back. Slimy, rusty Star Wars is what it needs to be. I'm not sure if I'm going to go see the new Star Wars movie, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to try and watch as many of these as I can. And yeah, I think that's it. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna. If I have to give this one a score, how should I score it? Like, give each episode a grade. I guess I would give the first one A minus, just because it had cool action. The main character was challenged. It seemed like he had to face difficult character testing scenarios. I don't know. I think I give them both an A-. Maybe the second one. Yeah, I'd say both. I'd give them both an A-. Anyway, I guess I'm done. I feel like this review was very scatterbrained and all over the place, but I'm giving them both A-. See you later.